Hi there, welcome to Sports Desk. So, a familiar face back at Bramall Lane, charged with the task of keeping the club in the Premier League. We're going to hear from him on that task very shortly, and also his acrimonious departure. So we're going to start with today's breaking news then. Chris Wilder has replaced Paul Heckingbottom as Sheffield United manager on an 18-month deal. Wilder previously spent 5 years in charge of the club. That was between 2016 and 2021. And he took them from League One to what Erik ten Hag is doing, because he's been holding his news conference ahead of tomorrow's match against Chelsea. We're going to bring it to you very shortly indeed. But let's just bring you some quotes from the United boss. He was talking about their form. He said, against Galatasaray, against Everton, we played very good. Against Newcastle, we were not happy with our performance, and we are the first to say so. He said, the players are so self-critical that they admit this. We know, and we have to do better. Of course, they got the defeat against Newcastle in the end. He also seems to have rejected suggestions that United are not, well, shall we say, united as one, because there were plenty of reports yesterday, not least from our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokos, saying that there is a little bit of dressing room unrest there at the moment. But he's said this: we've showed great character, great determination and resilience. We are together, he says, and you can see you can't play such great football that we did lately if there is no unity. As I said, we'll bring you Erik ten Hag's press conference very shortly indeed. Meanwhile, Manchester City could find themselves 6 points behind the leaders Arsenal before they kick off against Aston Villa tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Brighton host Brentford tomorrow night, looking to bounce back from that 3-2 defeat to Chelsea. But could Roberto De Zerbi be about to sign a new deal at the club? Aston Villa have been in excellent form, haven't they, at home, winning all 6 of their matches at Villa Park in the Premier League, scoring 23 goals in the process. Tomorrow, they host the champions Manchester City. Let's hear from Unai Emery now. Well, Bournemouth head to Crystal Palace tomorrow night, looking to extend their 3-match unbeaten run. And at 76 years of age, Roy Hodgson is the oldest Premier League manager. And although Andoni Iraola has a lot of respect for his opposite number, he can't see himself still in the dugout at that age. No, he's a brave man to still be in that dugout at the age of 76, but he's still doing a brilliant job, Roy Hodgson. Stay with us, because plenty more coming your way in the next hour. We promised you would hear from Erik ten Hag. We will hear from him next hour. We'll also be live. Hi there, welcome along. Sheffield United have gone back to the future today, reappointing fans' favourite Chris Wilder on an 18-month deal after the sacking of Paul Heckingbottom. And it's a daunting start for Wilder. Liverpool with a day of huge developments at Sheffield United, who've replaced Paul Heckingbottom with the returning Chris Wilder. Heckingbottom's departure was announced at 12:30 today, with Wilder's appointment following half an hour later. Wilder has joined on an 18-month contract, spent 5 years in charge of the club between 2016 and 2021, and took them from League One to the Premier League. Our senior reporter Tim Thornton, as Tim was saying, Wilder's first challenge will come against Liverpool tomorrow night, and it's this renewal of his rivalry with Jurgen Klopp. Let's head to Liverpool now and speak to Vinny O'Connor. Vinny, good afternoon to you. Wilder and Klopp do have a little bit of history, shall we say, from, of course, his previous spell in the Premier League, don't they? Vinny, what did Jurgen Klopp say about that epic match against Fulham? Of course, Trent Alexander had a brilliant role in it as well, a match-winning performance from him. There's plenty of calls for him to be playing further forward. What's he had to say about that? Right, Crystal Palace, meanwhile, prepared to host Bournemouth tomorrow night, and Roy Hodgson has cleared up any confusion over the availability of Eberechi Eze after his ankle injury. Here's what he had to say. Brighton host Brentford tomorrow night, looking to bounce back from the 3-2 defeat to Chelsea. But ahead of that game, there have been reports that Roberto De Zerbi is in talks about a new deal at the club. Jeremy Lang. Then, and a win tomorrow night against Brighton will see Brentford move ahead of their opponents in the Premier League. Thomas Frank has been talking about how happy he is with his squad's start to the season, and we can hear from him now. Right, 3 successive draws have seen Manchester City fall behind Arsenal and Liverpool at the top of the table. But Pep Guardiola is adamant his side will win the Premier League again if they continue performing. Erik ten Hag has dismissed reports that he's lost half the Manchester United dressing room and insists the players are right behind him. He has been holding his news conference ahead of tomorrow's match against Chelsea today. We can hear from him now. Welcome back. Fulham won both matches against tomorrow's opponents, Nottingham Forest, last season, but their form has been a little bit inconsistent of late, most recently with Sunday's late defeat at Liverpool. Hoping to get back on track is Fulham's head coach Marco Silva. Let's hear from him now. Fighting talk from the Manchester United manager after widespread reports of dressing room disharmony at Old Trafford in the last 24 hours. We're going to hear from Erik ten Hag at length for you in just a moment. Sheffield United have gone back But there is only one place to start. Erik ten Hag has dismissed reports he's lost half of the Manchester United dressing room. Numerous reports in the last 24 hours claimed a number of players have lost faith in his methods, but Erik ten Hag insists the players are all right behind him. It's been a day of huge developments at Sheffield United, who've replaced Paul Heckingbottom with the returning Chris Wilder. Heckingbottom's departure was announced at half past 12 today, with Wilder's appointment following half an hour later. Wilder, who's joined on an 18-month contract, spent 5 years in charge of the club between 2016 and 2021, and he took them from League One to the Premier League. And our senior reporter Tim Thornton was asking the questions. Let's get to that challenge then, because it couldn't be much tougher for Wilder, could it? They face second-place Liverpool at Bramall Lane, as Tim was saying, tomorrow night. Jurgen Klopp accepts that their scouting report